If you want to trade like a pro, then keep watching this video on how to set up your Thinkorswim platform. Thinkorswim is the best investing platform for trading and long-term investing. I've been using it every day now for 10 years. Every day the market's been open. So you need to have this tool in your arsenal to start to become a great investor. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Oh my God, what is happening? Look at all this stuff on the screen. Now, I thought the same way when I was, getting started in the investing game and using this platform. But don't get overwhelmed, Enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. You're learning. Who you are today is not who you're going to be 6 months from now. So use this video to your advantage on how to get Thinkorswim set up, and then, you can keep learning from there. So let's get started. So first, you're going to want to create a watch list. Now, watch lists are great because then you can keep track of a bunch of different stocks or ETFs that you want to follow. So one of the first watch lists that you're going to want to create is an index watch list. So that way you can see how the broader market is moving, and you'll be able to see the breadth, because when the broader market starts to come down, that affects individual stocks. So to create a watch list, you're going to want to click this button here, and you'll find this create a watch list section. Now you can name the watch list. I would recommend you to name it as index watch list, and I already have one named like that, so I'll just call it version 2. You're going to want to click this symbol box here and start typing in your symbols. QQQ, which is the NASDAQ for tech, SPY, S&P 500, DIA, Dow Jones, IWM, which is the Russell 2000, the VIX, which is the volatility index, or what some people like to refer as the fear index, and then TNX, which is the 10-year Treasury bond. Once you hit save, you'll have your watch list created. Oh, already have one created like that. It's called V3. Just want to put a quick note here for the 10-year Treasury bond. You have to move this decimal over 1 point, and then you'll be able to see what it's trading for. So right now the 10-year Treasury is trading for 4.35%. So that's great once you have that watch list created. Next, you want to go to the top here, and you're going to notice a little plus icon. Now, I can't add any more because I already added them, but once you click this plus here, you're going to add each of these, just like we did in the watch list. So SPY, QQQ, DIA, IWM, and the VIX. Okay. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is make sure that your chart times are starting on your time zone. I cannot stress this enough because it's really going to throw you off with the timing if you don't have it set up correctly. So how you're going to want to change that is go to charts. Okay. The way I have mine set up is by having 4 charts. So if you mess around with this, you can change how many charts you're showing on the screen. I think the best way to view it and how you set it up is by using 4 boxes. Okay. So now back to how to make sure my time's set up correctly. You'll see my charts start here at 9:30. That's when the market opens, and then the market closes at 4 p.m. on the East Coast. So click this little icon here, and then you're going to make sure you're on general time zone. Select your time zone. So I'm on the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time. Apply. Okay. So now we have that set up. The next thing you want to do is click on this monitor tab. Now this is going to allow you to see at a higher level all of your positions, all of the trades that you have, and know how you're doing on them and the performance. So for example, we have 3 open positions right now: Carnival Cruise Line, Novo Nordisk, and Uber. Now all of these columns, they won't come preset, so you're going to want to click on this icon here. And every category that you see here is what you're going to want to copy. So how you do that is you can type them in, right? Or you can click this drop down, hit basic, and find them. and how you add them. I'll do one for example, like the quantity. How many shares do you own? You can move this over, click add, or if you want to remove one, move it back. And if you don't like where they are positioned, you can actually move it up and down. Okay, so that's how you get that set up. Some quick facts here. If you click this drop down here, you can see a bunch of news that's happening with your positions, which is really nice. So we'll close that for now. Account statement tab, it's the same thing. It's going to show you a bunch of, P&L open, P&L percent. I never mess with anything on here. The main part you're going to mess with is this activity and positions tab. Click this icon. Make sure you have these correct categories selected here. So the trade tab. When you get into here, you can type a ticker in. So we'll do classic Apple. AAPL is the ticker symbol. So what's going to happen here is it pulls under the underlying security, the last price it was traded at. Then you see this trade grid. And once again, you can select how many charts you want by highlighting. So I like having 3. Okay. Now next is the option chain. Okay. Now we're going to create another video to get into options, but for right now, I just want you to know that for these strikes, you're going to want to increase it. I have mine set at 40. So the strikes are the price, the underlying price of the security. So with Apple, right now, it's trading at 204. Okay. So now you can see the option chain. Now, see if you only had five strikes, okay, you'd only be able to see that many. But I like to have them all open. Okay. Now, don't worry about Forex or futures. I mean, that's for more advanced traders, which we'll get into in the future. But for right now, don't worry about this at all. Now, active trader is nice as well. I mean, when I'm on here, I always use active trader or all products to place my trades. So, for example here, with active trader or all products, you're probably wondering, well, how do I actually place the trade? Okay, so how it works is when you're looking at an option chain, or say if you just want to buy the stock, okay, you can click here on the bid or ask. If you want to buy the stock, you click the ask, okay. If you're trying to sell, you sell on the bid. So now this is actually how you buy or sell a stock on Thinkorswim by selecting these 2 buttons here, the bid or the ask. And then you can just verify everything here. So if you're buying the stock, the side you're on is on buy, and then you can actually change the quantity, how many shares you're trying to buy on the market. So once everything's selected, you can hit this confirm and send. Now don't worry, when you click it, it won't actually place a trade. You're going to get this little box that's going to pop up here. So that box here, once you click send, it's actually going to route your order. So if I were to click send there, I'd actually buy the shares. And you'll see here, the cost of the trade is $204.15. There's no commissions on Thinkorswim. It's going to lower my buy-in power by that amount. So I'll have $384 left of buy-in power, which is, buy-in power just means, how much can you buy? So we're not going to put this trade through right now, but if you wanted to, that's how you do it. So one thing I did want to note here, what's really cool with Thinkorswim when you're on this trade tab is right here, trade all products. When you put a ticker symbol in, you'll actually be able to see this MMM, okay, that's yellow. And this is one of the greatest things Thinkorswim has here. It's awesome. So what it's going to tell you is the market maker move. And what it's doing is it's going to tell you how much the stock is expected to move up or down, right, by the next expiration, the next option's expiration. So you'll see here for Apple, the market maker is expecting the stock to move up or down $1.66 by the end of today. And how they get this calculation is based on the implied volatility in the options market for the nearest expiration. And the reason why you're going to know this is because for earning events, when a stock is about to report their quarterly earnings, okay, this is one of the greatest tools for that, because you'll be able to see what the market is pricing in on a 1 standard deviation move, okay? So what the market expects it to move, which would be $1.66. So the next thing we're going to do here, you can go into this Analyze tab, which I find to be great too. Now, you'll see simulated trades, risk profile, probability analysis. Don't worry about those for now. Economic data is great. You get a lot of macro data, see how the economy is doing. You can learn a lot through here. But I think one of the coolest things here is the Fundamentals tab, where you can look at a stock, right? And once you scroll down, you can read the company profile. So for example, Uber here gives you a breakdown of what the company does. Then you can get some key financial metrics, know how the company is doing on this tab. You can break it down by the quarter, right? 4 quarters and a year, or on an annual level. Okay. Scan. I don't really use that this much, but if you wanted to scan for stocks based on certain criteria and find matches on them, you can do that. But for the most part, I don't really use this, scan tab for the strategy that we're going to be using here for investing and trading. It's not really relevant. Market Watch, this is a great tab. What you'll be able to see here is quotes. So when you create watch list, now Thinkorswim does come with a lot of preset watch lists already in there, but for the most part, you're going to want to create your own, stocks you're watching. You want to see how they're performing, how they're moving over time. In this quote section, you can see that. So I could filter my watch list today by how everything's performing. The worst performer all the way to the best. See all the other information about it. What's really cool about this Visualize tab is the heat map. So you can kind of see from a visualization how the market's performing. So Thinkorswim has ones pre-made, like this S&P 500. You can see Microsoft, it's up 2.2% today. And the bigger the box means the bigger the company, so it goes by the market cap, how much the company's worth. So if you wanted to buy Apple today, buy the whole company, right, it would cost you $3 trillion to buy all of it. But the size of these boxes tell you how big the company is. But what I think is really cool is on the personal, your watch list that you created, you can see the heat map for them. Next thing is charts. So how you're going to want to set up your charts is you're going to want to have 4 boxes here. Okay. Now, once you have those 4 selected, you're always going to want to have SPY right here. Okay, because you want to know how the broader market's moving. When you're looking at other stocks, okay, if the broader market's going up or down, it's going to affect individual stocks. So it's key to always have the broader market up there. And you always want to look at it, for the most part, for the 1 day and on a 1 minute scale. So each of these, they're called candlesticks here, are 1 minute each. So every minute of the day, you got to see how the market's moving. So what you can do is you click this 1 day or 1 minute, but I prefer to set it up using the time frame slot. So you're going to go to custom, and then you're always going to select today's date, okay? And then aggregation period, you want to put it on 1 minute. So that way you're getting 1 minute candles. So that's how you get the chart to get set up so you can view it in this time frame. Thinkorswim has some ours preloaded for, so for example, if you wanted to see the last, let's do 10 days, okay? It's showing you the last 10 trading days the market's been open, but on a 30-minute scale. So each of these candles here are 30 minutes, how the stock performed. Well, in this case, it's SPY, it's an ETF, but regardless, how it performed every 30 minutes. So you can get a, see the bigger picture. And if you click and drag, you can actually zoom in to the different dates. So if you want to get, oh, I just want to see what's happening here, drag it, boom. But for the most part, I'm looking at what's happening on today. Oh, see my chart's looking a little weird. I was getting confused there. Since I zoomed in, if you click this little zoom out button here, go all the way back to that 1 day. Market opens at 9:30. Okay. Now, I'm also going to show you how you can get these volume bars to overlap your chart. So that way you can see how much volume's coming in, buying and selling, right? Today, you'll see right here, this big blue bar here, a bunch of volume came in because a headline came out that Beijing was weighing a fentanyl offer to the United States to start trade talks. And, recently the market's been selling off because of, President Trump's tariff news. So any positive headlines regarding, trade talks and tariffs are going to send the market up. So that's why you saw here, once that headline came out, boom, a bunch of buyers stepped in, sent the market higher. So that's why volume is really important, because you can really see on these moves, relative to the day, wow, a bunch of volume came in. So what you're going to do to put the volume on the chart is make sure, in general, check this box off, overlap volume, okay? If you don't, it's going to look like this. And now that might be fine for you, but honestly, I really prefer the volume to be on the chart because you can just see it better. The scale that they give you is so small. So once you overlap it, I just find to be a little better on the eyes. You can really visualize it better. Okay, so that's how you get the volume overlap. Okay, now what you're going to notice is these buttons on the side here. Okay, now they're going to bring up different features for you. Now for this chart, for SPY, you want to have it just like this, nothing selected. Okay, now your second chart, you want to have the chart selected, the options chain, okay? So that way you can quickly see the options market. So for example, if news comes out, boom, we get a big headline that we want to trade on Amazon. AMZN, boom, put Amazon in, okay, boom, I'm in the options, right? I want to buy this call, okay? Click the buy. Okay, you see that we're on here from before. Confirm and send. Pulls up the confirmation screen. You can click send. It'll route your order to the exchange. You'll be filled. Okay. So that's why it's really neat to have that options chain right there, because you can act quick. Now, on your next chart, we're talking about this one down here. This is another one, so I like to keep up. So, when I just want to see how stocks are doing, pull them up. I don't know, let's look at Let's see. I'm hungry, so let's look at McDonald's. Boom. Time frame. Let's look at it today. That's how it's doing today. You see the price it's currently trading at. It's down $2 on the day. 0.64%. You want to go 3 years out weekly? All right, so that's performed over the past 3 years. Now, on your fourth chart, okay, I like to have it to where it's symbol links. So let me show you what's kind of happening here. You can link things together. So for example, like I have this live news gadget over here, right? Linked to this chart. So if I want to look at, we'll use McDonald's as an example since we just used it. MCD, boom. When that updates, so does that. I go back to trade, I linked it as well. Okay? This way you can act quick. Because when I'm watching the market, I'm sitting here and I'm watching it, okay? Boom. I get a headline, okay? Comes up. Okay, we'll do Alta. Boom. My options chart's already open right here. I could buy an option. Okay? Or I link it, could go to the trade screen. Look, see my option chain go there. So that's a cool feature that you can symbol link them. Now this here, I use this for the option charts. So that way, for that option on the day, I can see how it traded, right? How it's performing. And then time and scales is the last trades that came in. So what you'll see here is if I were to have it all unchecked, all right, it's just a chart. But what you want to add is time and sales, okay? So that way you can see what the most recent trades are. So for example, if we did it for SPY, look, these are all the trades that are coming in for the S&P 500 right now, ETF. And the size, time, price, size. So for options, it's cool because then you can see, the volume that's coming in. I mean, this one's not actively traded. That's why we're not seeing anything. No trades are coming through right now. That's why I showed you for the S&P 500. Oh, look at that. The market's about to close here in 21 seconds. It's about to be 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you're actually going to hear a dinging sound when the market closes on Thinkorswim. So we'll give that a second here so you can hear it. All right. So now you can't trade anymore. The market's closed. And today's Friday, so the next day the market will open will be on Monday. Okay, let's get back into making these charts are set up correctly. So your time and sales, right? You can see what trades are coming through, your chart, and your level 2, which is going to show you the exchanges. Okay, so you can see where, the trade's coming in as well. So that's the charts tab. There's this flexible grid. You can get more charts, but really I just use this. Tools. This is a neat section. You can pull up one of the watch lists that you create, and then it's going to come up with, right now we're on this videos tab, so you can watch a lot of videos pertaining to the stocks that you have in that watch list, and see them. So I think it's really cool. Education tab here. And that's going to let you learn a little bit more about the Thinkorswim platform. And if you have any more questions, just leave a comment. I'd be more than happy to help answer them. But on your free time, you can come in here, start learning about stuff. That's how you'll do that. So I just want to take a second here and show all of you how to pull up an option charts. For this video, I've been showing you how to pull up charts of stocks or ETFs. But to pull up an option chart, you go to this trade tab here. And there's two ways to get it up. Now, the fastest way I like to do it is right click. You go down to the send to, and you click the link that you created. So in my case, it's one red, because that's what I linked this chart as. So I found that to be pretty quick. But the other way to go about it is when you right click one of your option contracts, you can click this copy button. And then in your chart area, you can actually paste it in there. So there's two ways to get your option charts up. So that way you can see how it's traded throughout the day, historical prices, and all that. I also wanted to take the time to show you how to pull up the pre-market and aftermarket on your chart. And you might be wondering, well, Rob, what is the aftermarket and pre-market? I thought that the stock market was only open from 9:30 to 4. Now, that's correct, that the market is open 9:30 to 4, but that's for intraday. Stocks also trade after hours. And there's not much volume because the market's closed. But once you go into the chart setting here, click the icon, go to equities, and you click show extended hours trade in session and hit apply. And now you'll see that this next shade of gray, which you'll see here, right? 9:30, you get in the darker gray, the market's open. Beforehand, that's the pre-market. Anytime is after. Now you might be asking me, well, why do they have this? Why do they have a pre-market and aftermarket? Why do they have that? So earnings reports will come out after the market closes, right? The market is like officially closed, and a company will release their earnings, how much revenue they made, their profitability, and the market will actually move in that time. So when it's earnings season and you want to look at stocks and the reaction to their earnings report, well, you want to make sure that your aftermarket and pre-market, or as Thinkorswim calls it, extended hours trading session, is checked and on. So once again, kind of recap everything that we went over to make sure that we were set up correctly. If you want to trade like a pro, then you have to get your system, your Thinkorswim platform set up like this, because I'm telling you, I've been doing this for over 10 years, following the market every day, and this is the best way to have it set up. Like I said earlier, I went over a lot, and I'm just trying to cover, everything that you need to do to get your system to get set up like this, so that way you can begin to trade and invest. But don't get overwhelmed. Do not get overwhelmed. So once again, we created our watch list. We added all of our index. We call them the index positions so we can see the broader market. Okay. There's a quick chart here. So if I want to look at something quick on the side, Microsoft stock. Okay. See that quickly. SPY. Okay, this live news, which is cool. You can see a bunch of live news for the companies. Look into stuff there. Trader TV is pretty cool. I always have CNBC US selected. And the reason why this is neat to have up is because when, we're trading them, when we get headlines, and I have a system down where, I can get news fast. To the point where, we can get it before the market pops off, before CNBC even gets it. That's wild. Like, listen to what I just said. We're going to be able to get news plays, right? Buy options, buy the stock, right? Before CNBC is even reporting it to the mass public. Okay? So we're going to be able to make some money doing that. So that's what's on the left side here. Once again, we added the tickers up here to watch the market. All right. Monitor, we went over how to view your portfolio as a whole. The trade tabs, okay. Open up the option chain, trade grid, and underline, okay. We went over this market maker move, what that means. Goes to show you that for the, how much, the market makers are expecting, the stock to move, okay. So this is a really cool tool that Thinkorswim has, especially great for earnings reports, okay. Analyze, we put in Uber stock here, and we went to the fundamentals tab, and you can read about the company, right? Get an overview, get some profitability metrics, fundamental analysis. You can put in Apple, right? You can see a bunch of stuff. Like, look, iPhone consists of 24%. This stuff is great. So you can really look into stuff here. Scan, you can find stocks. We didn't really use that much. Market watch, right? You can get a whole heat map, right? See how the market's doing on a big scale. Boom, S&P 500. All right, look, the market was up 1.5% today. That's why most of this was green. On a red day, you'll see it red. So, it's cool, and this is neat too because you can kind of see what's composed of the S&P 500 and what the biggest names are. In that basket. And then I also showed you for the watch list here that we created. You can do that as well. Oh, also, this calendar tab is pretty neat. It helps you see like when dividends are going to happen, when the company's going to report their quarterly earnings, which moves the stock a lot because that's information. Conference calls, type in the ticker. So like Airbnb. Oh, see? On the first, they had their earnings and conference call. If you highlight over this, look, the market, Wall Street analyst estimates were estimated 24 cents a share, and then came in line. So they didn't really beat on their EPS metric. Showed you how to get your chart set up, right? You can use this linking feature, so that way when you affect one chart, okay, it moves something else. Helps you be a lot quicker. Now go give this setup a try. If you learned something new, give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, post in the comments if you have any questions or any topics that you would like for me to cover.